All right, my friends. Good afternoon. We are here today to talk about learning English grammar. And this is our Speaking Gringo podcast show number 3. And I am your host, David Bailey. So just taking a quick look here to make sure everything looks good, but we are live. So welcome one, welcome all to the Speaking Gringo podcast show number 3. Today we're talking about learning English grammar, how to learn English grammar. We're not going to actually study English grammar today. I can hear the groans. Hey, Elu, how you doing? Good to see you there, my friend. All right. So, like I said, I can hear the groans. We're not actually going to study English grammar today, so don't worry. I know a lot of students hate English grammar. So, if you're worried about that, we're not going to dive into an actual grammar lesson today, but grammar is important so that you can speak English more proficiently, right? So, a lot of teachers don't like teaching grammar either because when students focus just on the grammar, they often aren't very fluent. They know a lot about the English language. They know how to structure their sentence. They know how to conjugate verbs. They do very well on tests, but they don't actually communicate because they're so afraid to make a mistake that they don't use what they know. So we want to help you avoid that. That's why we're talking about the entire system of how to learn English, because we want you to not only speak it proficiently, but also speak fluently. So you have to, focus on both fluency and proficiency together. And the way you focus on proficiency is by knowing how the grammar works. Now, I have a quick story for you and a little caveat here, right? So first of all, let me tell you my story. When I first started teaching English, there was a group of students that started studying. They were probably about 3 months into their course. And they came to me and they said, "Hey, David, we have this friend that wants to study English." I was like, "Okay, bring him to class. Let him watch class with y'all. He'll probably won't understand a whole lot because, you've been studying several months already, and he'll be just watching the class. But, let him see what it's like. If he likes it, we can, find a group for him to join that's starting." So the friend came to class. He watched class with them, and he seemed super enthusiastic about it. And at the end of the class, so in that class, I was teaching with a mini story. So we created a mini story together. At the end of the class, I asked for a volunteer, I asked who wanted to retell the story in their own words, right? So they learned a whole bunch of new words, sentence structure, phrases, expressions, pronunciations, and now it was time to practice. So one student in the group who had been studying English for a long time, everybody knew that he had studied in other English courses, and he, knew a lot about English. He was always helping the other students. He said, "Let me try." So he stood up, he walked to the front of the class, and he started retelling the story, but he was trying to think about everything he was saying, and he got frustrated. And after a minute or two, he gave up. He's like, no, I don't want to do this. Let somebody else go. So he sat down, and I said, "Who else wants to try?" So the new kid who had just joined his first day, he said, let me try. So he went up front, he retold the story, lots of mistakes, right? Very first English class. And he made lots of mistakes, but he retold the story in his own words, using the words that he knew, that he remembered, and very broken English, but he managed to retell the entire story. And at the end, he was crying. He had tears running down his face, and he's like, "I can't believe I'm actually speaking English." So the point that I want to bring out from that is that, and afterwards, I even asked him, I was like, "Have you ever studied English before? You did really good." He's like, no, I never studied English before. I was like, "You've never studied English in a course or anything?" He said, "No, just, what we study in school, what everybody studies. And I've never actually taken English classes to learn English." But the point I'm trying to make is, just because you study a lot of English and know a lot about grammar If you don't use it because you're afraid of making mistakes, that's not good, right? So the goal of learning grammar isn't to speak perfectly or to think about everything you're trying to say to trip you up when you're talking, because it's important to develop fluency. But if you speak fluently, you make lots of mistakes and people don't understand you. That's not very good either. So you have to practice your fluency. You also have to practice your proficiency, right? You want to speak well a lot. You want to let it flow, the fluency, but you also want to speak correctly. And that's the way children learn, right? Children learn through practice. A child doesn't go to school to study grammar. They just start talking, right? They don't go to school and study grammar before they start speaking. A little child's at home, it's talking with his mother. He says water, right? His mother gives him water. She says, I want water. He says, yes, want water. So little by little, parents correct children and children learn in their environment. They learn English implicitly. Then they go to school to learn the grammar and they understand why they speak that way. So it's the same thing in your English. Focus first on your fluency. Focus on developing the flow and being able to speak and communicate, but also don't neglect the grammar. That's kind of the point I want to make here. All right. So let's dive in. We're going to take a look here at some of the different options that you have for studying English grammar. So this is our website, Speaking Gringo. So speakinggringo.com. You can punch in your email here and click get started. So that way you're updated when we have new stuff coming out. But we're doing the podcast daily, Monday through Friday, to help you with your English, so you can join us here. Today, we're focusing on show number 3, learn English grammar, right? So if you're just listening to the podcast, this is speakinggringo.com, and you can see what we're talking about here in today's lessons, right? So why is learning English grammar important? Like we said, so that you learn to speak proficiently, correctly, so that you don't make as many mistakes. And little by little, you tweak your English so you speak better. Who should study English grammar? Especially beginner and intermediate students, right? In the beginning, you want to focus more on fluency than proficiency. But as time goes on, you want to develop more proficiency as well. So my live streaming app's telling me I should maybe make a tweak here. Not sure what I need to do. But anyways, we'll keep on chugging along. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. How do you study English grammar effectively? There's lots of different ways, right? The main thing to do is to speak and use it. And as people correct you, you will improve your grammar, so to speak, the structure, the way you speak. But there are a lot of tools, and you can use books and material to help you improve and learn how the English language fits together. Let me just make this a little bit bigger and put that down there. All right, so tools you can use to increase your English vocabulary. First of all, we've got grammar books. So let's take a quick look here. There are a lot of grammar books available. You can see right up here, Basic English Grammar, the perfect, for dummies, right? I like that one. The Perfect English Grammar book. We've got English Grammar for Dummies. And of course, you've got books that you can buy on Amazon. Here we go. So 20 best English grammar books. Best books for English grammar. 100 best English grammar books of all time. The 9 best grammar books available today. So I'm actually going to tell you one book that I saw students using a lot that was really good. So this is one that I've actually worked with and seen students using, English Grammar in Use. Elio, I see your question there. We'll get to your question in just a minute. So this one right here, English Grammar in Use by Raymond Murphy. And there are 3 books, I believe. So you've got the beginner, intermediate, and advanced book are all really good. and helpful for taking specific grammar topics and helping you understand how to use them by actually using the language. So you don't want to just learn a grammar rule that you're going to forget, right? You want to actually use it. This will give you lots of examples to practice. All right. Elia's asking, what's the difference between increasing and improving your English vocabulary? Elia, that's a good question. I think they're pretty similar. Basically, if you increase your vocabulary, you're going to, have a greater vocabulary. So if you know 100 English words and you learn 5 more, you know 105 English words, so, right? So you're increasing, it's getting bigger. And when you improve your English vocabulary, obviously it's increasing, your English is going to improve, right? So I don't think there's a whole lot of difference there. They're pretty similar. I hope that answered your question. Feel free to clarify the question if I didn't answer you correctly. All right. So after grammar books, another tool that is helpful for learning grammar implicitly is by using mini stories, right? So we have a Learn English mini story that I recorded many years ago. Let's see, this was back in 2010. So that's had about 500,000 views there, 526,228 views. But this is one of the first English mini stories that I posted, called Emily's True Love. We created this in class with the students. And if I'm not mistaken, there's actually a couple people here. Okay, the story, it's probably just me reading, but there are some dialogues that go along with it and some grammar lessons. So the cool thing about teaching with stories is that the story gives you a framework for learning. So in a story, you learn the vocabulary. In a story, you see how the sentences are structured. So you learn the grammar. In the stories, you see you hear the pronunciation, so you can improve your pronunciation. And then, of course, you can also learn idiomatic expressions and phrasal verbs and all that good stuff. So we have a bunch of mini stories on here, and you can actually search through our channel to find other mini stories where we have the grammar mini story, we have the POV mini story, we have the vocabulary lessons. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that goes along with these that we created years ago, and a bunch of them are still up on the YouTube channel. So feel free to look for the mini stories that we created. But here's what's nice about learning grammar with a mini story. So we teach a mini story, we create a mini story together with the students, and then we change the verb tense, for example. So instead of telling the story in the simple present, we'll tell it in the past, or we'll tell it in the future, or we'll tell it in the present continuous, right? So it's a way for you to take what you know and you practice it. I remember one time we created a story together. We used one tense, and in the next class I came back and I didn't think about it, but I told the story in a different tense. I believe it was the past tense. So obviously some of the verbs changed and the students were looking at me, and these were beginner students, right? So they're like, teacher, this is a different story. And I'm like, no, this is the same story we did the last class. And I was like, oh, because we used a lot of verbs in the past tense, so they sounded different. Instead of get, we used got, stuff like that. So learning through stories, you learn the language implicitly and you practice the grammar that you are learning. Hopping on back over here, English grammar videos, right? So here are a whole bunch of English grammar videos that you can find right on YouTube. So just punch in English grammar videos. You can punch in the specific grammar topic you want to focus on, and then just click videos, right? You have all, which is your normal Google search. You click on videos and a whole bunch of videos pop up, or you can search on YouTube as well. So let me just close a few of these down here so we don't get too many. Then we've got the podcast. You have podcasts that are really good for learning grammar. A lot of English teachers also run podcasts where they teach grammar, right? So we have the best English grammar podcasts of 2022. You just put on the podcast, listen to it, learn grammar, lots of examples and uses while you're doing other things. So you're driving your car, you can listen to a podcast. Podcasts are a great way to learn English. Fantastic tool. I recommend every English student listen to English podcasts to improve their English, not just podcasts about English and the grammar, but podcasts in English about other topics that interest you. So you can see best 20 grammar podcasts you must follow in 2022. So you can see we've got ESL Pod, VOA, Voice of America, Learning English. So they take the news and they tell the news in a very simplified English for English students. Lots of options there. And there are, of course, also apps. So we have Learn English grammar apps you can put in, and a bunch of options will pop up here. You've got a bunch on Google. We've got 9 best apps to learn English. We've got 9 best apps to learn English online for free. We've got 13 best apps to learn English in 2022. Become fluent fast. Let's take a quick look here at the 9 best apps to learn English online for free, right? We've got Duolingo. That was actually one of the options I was going to show you. I have the Duolingo website up. It's a great way to learn a new language. So I've used Duolingo to improve my Portuguese, to practice my French. So you've also got the BBC Learning app, the British Council app. You've got Grammarly that can help you with your writing. You've got 6,000 words, Hello Talk, Bilingual, italki, Udemy, which is more courses, but you can probably find a lot of courses and lectures in English. Maybe, I don't know, because I didn't actually go look. Not only do you find courses about English, but you can study courses about other topics in English, right? So, like I said, today we're just talking about grammar in general. Another podcast show, we can come back and dive into any one of these points that interest you. So go ahead, leave a comment, and let me know what areas of learning grammar interest you. If any of these tools or topics interest you, you want to know more about them, we can talk about those further in another Speaking Gringo podcast show. All right, here's another great website, linguahouse.com. They have a lot of English lessons that you can study and practice. I've used the Lingua House worksheets with my students. If you'd like a lesson, if you'd like us to actually study one of these lessons online, we can do that in one of our podcast shows. But just like I said, leave me a comment. I'm just trying stuff out here to see what you like, what you find helpful. And based on your feedback and your comments, we will do what we can to improve the Speaking Gringo podcast show, right? So once again, speakinggringo.com with Dave Bailey. You just click the button, punch in your name and email, and you'll get started. Right up here, you've got a little bit about us. You've got the podcast page where you can see all of the previous shows 1, 2, and 3 that are up here. And then, of course, you can join us. Click here and just punch in your name and email, and you'll get updates as well. Follow us on social media. My social media handle on all of the social media platforms is Dave Bailey Me. So you've got facebook.com/Dave Bailey Me, Instagram.com/Dave Bailey Me. You'll follow me everywhere. So you'll see all the things I do. I work as a real estate agent. I also do closings. I work with title companies and law firms here in Florida, but I still enjoy teaching. 20 years of teaching English in Brazil. Teaching English hasn't left my blood yet. So I still want to help you improve your English. That's why we're doing the Speaking Gringo podcast. If you'd like to join us here in the Zoom classes, let me know. We can also schedule some classes where you can jump in and talk with me live. All right, my friends, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, give me some feedback. let me know. Say, hey, David, I like this. And that way I can keep doing it. If you don't like something, let me know. Say, hey, David, I didn't like that, and I'll stop doing it. So the goal here is just to get on every day, talk about learning English, talk in English, help you with your English as you improve. So help you with your English vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and expressions. And I have a phone call. Let me take this here quick and see who it is. Hello. Yes, this is David. Doing pretty good. I'm kind of right in the middle of something right now. So can you call me back in about 10 minutes? Okay, thanks. Bye. All right, my friends. So that's it for today. I appreciate you being here, watching this with us. You all have a good one, and I will see you in our next episode, show number 4, where we're going to be talking about improving your English pronunciation. So that's kind of the next topic I'm thinking about talking about, but feel free to leave comments below, leave your suggestions, and I will take those into consideration as we prepare for future Speaking Gringo podcasts. So this is it, speakinggringo.com. I'm your host, Dave Bailey. Thanks for being here. Y'all have a good one, and bye-bye. As I log out, you'll all still see me here, my handsome face on the screen, right? How is it they do that? So I'll be a pro at this podcasting stuff here someday. Right now, I'm just having fun. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.